Thanks to you at home for joining me right now. I am Devon, and I am just remembering when I was a little kid, and my mom used to let me watch The Matrix on pay-per-view. She used to buy it for me every 3 years when it came out because it was such a long series. Keanu Reeves, who else was in it? Lawrence Fishburne, some other people. Red pill, blue pill. Do you remember the movie, The Matrix? You probably don't. That's the reason why I'm talking about it today, is because I love the movie The Matrix. It was directed and produced by the Wachowski brothers, I believe, and that's like a rough. Sorry, like don't really know, but that's like a rough way of me trying to pronounce those people's name. But I wanted to talk about it because I feel like that movie is misunderstood a lot. And to a certain degree, we talk about matrices in mathematics or the matrix when we talk about spirituality or stuff like that. And I don't think we quite understand what we mean when we say a matrix, especially when we talk about something like a movie like with Keanu Reeves and Lawrence Fishburne. So I wanted to talk about the word The Matrix because I am the host of a podcast called Center of the Sun, and I talk about modern science, ancient wisdom, human potential. I talk about all that kind of stuff, and I do it because I feel like there's a lot of information out there related to spirituality, related to ascension, 5D ascension, new earth. Oprah's talking about it, like people are talking about it. And what does it mean? All I have is the movie The Matrix to go off on. When people say like, we're getting out of the Matrix, we're ascending. I get very confused because I feel like robots are coming. I feel like the apocalypse is coming. And to a certain degree, I feel like that's the purpose of people using those terms in their creative works. So, have you heard of the Matrix? Do you know what the Matrix is? Have you used the Matrix in mathematics class? Like, there are many applications for that word matrix. And I wanted to talk about it in terms of like spirituality, because in my notes here, I've learned in my process, whatever you want to call it, that the matrix represents the original definition of human symbols, human sounds, and human ideas that were created and then evolved and then they were lost after they were developed. So when we talk about like breaking out of the matrix or a matrix, it is a matrix of some sort of idea. And in mathematics, a matrix represents a set of numbers, which, I mean, numbers are just as spiritual as anything. But the lost part is what I wanted to focus on right now, because it was lost for various unknown reasons. So the Wachowski brothers were like, okay, well then let's make a movie about the Matrix since we don't know what the hell we're talking about. And our modern interpretation of what the Matrix is so saturated that it's hard to take it serious when somebody's like, we're breaking out of the Matrix, like, we live in a Matrix. Like, what does that mean? When somebody says we live in a Matrix, what you're supposed to think about, sorry, I was drinking beer. I'm burping a little bit, belching. But anyway, when you think of the word matrix, you're supposed to be thinking of the ideas, the symbols, all of the things that humans create that are unique to humans. But over time, it has been lost. So, it has been lost because we have been inundated with religious dogma or political ideology, stuff like that. Certain activists, and this is something that was very interesting to me, that when I was kind of coming upon this topic, or like, what am I gonna talk about on Pinterest today? Like, what am I gonna talk about? Certain activists attempt to rediscover these esoteric secrets about the Matrix. So what does the word esoteric mean? The word esoteric just means unknown. And by doing so, it's kind of hard to do anything else. So when you start uncovering, like, we live in a matrix, like, you kind of like become consumed with it. So I want you to take heed about that kind of thing. And but I also want you to be excited, and I want you to, look into it a little bit, because you should be reactivating that curious part of your mind. So 5D ascension, people talk about 5D ascension a lot. 5D ascension is this reactivation or this remembering of these parts of you, these esoteric secrets about you, these unknown parts about you. That's what the 5D ascension is. And it's all about the collective consciousness as well. So everybody needs to be on the same page. And I feel like you can see it in the world, like people are starting to shift and starting to like change their mind about certain things. But it's imperative that we come to this realization that we live in a matrix. Like, a lot of the things that we deal with are social constructions. A lot of the things, gender, sex, sexuality, we just came out of Pride. Like, I don't know if you know many gay people, whoever, transgender people, but they will tell you all day, gender's a social construction. Well, if gender's a social construction, then what else is a social construction? There are many things. The fact that I'm wearing blue on blue, I'm wearing a Canadian tuxedo, denim on denim, 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 denim. The fact that I'm wearing denim on top of denim, and it's not really denim, it's just a denim pattern or denim looking. But we got to get to this realization because we are right now causing irreparable damage to the Mother Earth. So it is imperative that we take heed. And the Matrix is very interesting, because once you start realizing that all of these symbols and ideas and sounds and dogmas are just that, what you can create, you can recreate or remake or remix, whatever it is. So the sequencing of human evolution matters. So if you feel like you don't know what's going on, or like you feel scared or whatever it is, that's fine, because you're supposed to feel like that. The sequencing of human evolution matters. So if you're not on the place yet, attempt to get there, but don't rush, because it's a process. And everybody's not supposed to be on the same page. We have to get there slowly so that we can achieve consensus, quorum. You know, we love our democracies. We love voting. We love being on the same page as a species. So we know that history repeats itself. So that is evidence that we live in some sort of matrix, that we live in some sort of system or socially constructed system, because we just keep arriving to the same point. Why do we keep arriving to the same point? Well, it is kind of like the same way that energy moves, electricity, whatever it is, moves from point A to point B. And there is a sequence of events within a wire or within a computer or whatever it is that must occur in order for that to happen, for some sort of action to happen. So the matrix, when we talk about the matrix, it's not like, oh my God, like it's gonna be robots, like blah. Like, we could. I think that's a extreme case of like what I'm talking about today, but nature also is a matrix, and nature dictates those events that have to happen in a certain order. So it's like, go convene with nature. You might get an idea, maybe, I don't know. Otherwise, nature will adjust itself. So if we don't ascend, we might be extincted. Oh, oh. But it's okay. It's not to scare you or anything. But I'm just like, it's something that made me kind of laugh when I was like thinking of the Matrix, because it's like, I don't know if you've seen the Matrix. I don't know if you've seen all of them. There are 3 or however many of them, but it's a very crazy story. And if you don't believe it's a crazy story, you probably have never really truly watched it and you don't understand it. So I encourage you to go watch The Matrix, but I also encourage you to open your mind and your heart and your eyes to the fact that we live in various preconceived notions about what a human should be. And you can choose to adhere or to buck against those trends. But it's up to you. What do you think? Leave a comment, please. Thank you so much for your attention. I am Devon, and you can visit my blog, devon.org, DVAUGHN.org. Thank you so much, and have a great day.